Hey guys, so I'm a bit nervous because, as you may be able to tell by the title of this video, I have decided today to try and teach you to count in Hindi. And one of the reasons why I'm a bit nervous is, well, firstly, I got this idea because of the popularity of my Hindu mythology video. And I realized that, well, within the ASMR community, there aren't really that many Indian ASMR artists. And I know that a lot of other whisperers will do videos teaching about their culture. Of course, Maria being one of the biggest examples of this, teaching Russian, and she had a video on Russian foods that I remember seeing recently and stuff like that. And I haven't really seen people doing videos like that on Indian culture. And it makes me a bit nervous, admittedly, because while I love doing videos like this and I love being able to share my culture with you, I do not feel like I am properly representative of a country in which 1 billion people will reside. Especially considering that I was born and raised in the US. But I am going to try. I am actually not fluent in Hindi. I know some basics, basically, so like counting. I know that. But it gets a bit iffy because there are multiple Indian languages. And they all sort of, or most of them at the very least, use the same script. So you can see here, this sort of script that they use is called Devanagari. I can sort of show you a little bit close up what it looks like. Kind of like that, with the line on top and with the most of the letters hanging down, with some of them sticking up or hanging below others. And I was considering doing a video where I sort of teach Devanagari, but that would be, I feel like, a really long video. I might sometime in the future, after, kind of studying it a little bit more myself, because admittedly I'm not as familiar with it, but these calendars, I don't know if you could tell what they were when they were sitting there, but these are calendars, and we've always had calendars like these in our kitchen every year. They're sort of simple, like every one of these pages is a month, and it's sort of sideways. It runs vertically, so that's why I gave the English one next to it, so you can sort of see how it goes a little bit differently. And we get these sent to us every year from my family in India. So, because I've always had these around, I'm a little bit more familiar with the numbers than with the language. And as you can see, a lot of them look really similar. Like, this doesn't look too far off from a 1. That looks like a 2. That looks like a 3. I mean, after that, they're all different, but anyway, I figured I could do a little bit about counting in Hindi and sort of point to each of the numbers here. Why don't I use January as an example, because January actually goes up to 31, and that way I can teach you all of the numbers up till 30, because that is as far as I know them anyway, so that'll make it a little bit easier, and that way I don't have to like stop after 28 and get awkward. But there we go. So, the basic numbers, Devanagari has their own little digits, but starting with, I guess, 0, so I'll start here. I'll move these up and write these along the bottom. But 0 is basically like 0, and it's pronounced shunya. So, I don't know if you guys can see that. S-H-U-N-Y-A. That's not really, because Devanagari kind of has its own letters, it's a bit debatable as to how. Like, some people might put O-O, some people might put U, some people might, put an H at the end of that, some people might put another U, so shunya. That's how you'd pronounce that. And that is 0. And 1 is sort of, because 1 and 9 can get pretty similar. So it gets a little bit hard, especially in this sort of more calligraphy looking font. But let me try to recreate it. So it's sort of that thing. Almost like you're starting a question mark. And then a little squiggle where you kind of slant down and come back. So, yeah, almost like a question mark. And that is egg. And I guess it's like, I guess it's sort of like, I don't know if people outside the US will, or, North America will really get this, but you know how in the movies, or, in media in general, the joke is how Canadians say A at the end of everything? So it's sort of like that, but with a K. So, egg. And that's 1. And I put it like that because it's not ick, like ICK, it's egg, like an E. This is when it kind of, it can become tricky with the pronunciation, because the thing is, in Hindi, they have a different, I guess, letter, you could call it, for every pronunciation. So like in English, A can be pronounced like A or A or A, whereas in Hindi, each letter is always pronounced that way. So like, this here is a K, and it's always K. This little heart-looking thing, that's L. So it's not really, I mean, I guess I couldn't really call that a K, it's a K. And that's not really an L, it's a L. But, it's based on pronunciation. I guess those aren't the best examples, because it's not like you really tend to pronounce K any differently in different contexts, but it makes a difference for vowels especially. But yeah, so that's shunya for 0 and ek for 1. And so 2 looks kind of pretty much like a 2, but it has this little tail at the end. Here, I'll make this a little more complete. That is do. And it's sort of, I mean, I looked this up where they had like words that were similar, and for this one it said the word dough, like bread dough or cookie dough, but the thing is the D is a little bit different, and like here's another example where it's different for different consonants. So when you say dough, you bring your tongue back a little bit, but when you say do, your tongue needs to sort of touch the back of your teeth. So it's for those who know linguistics, it's dentalized, is what it's called, so do. And that's, if you're being a real stickler about it, if you're, if you're not Indian and you're learning this, I don't think anyone's gonna be too harsh on you if you're counting incorrectly, but it can make a difference when you're actually speaking the language, because this type of D is dentalized, whereas there is another letter which is a D which isn't dentalized. So if you get that mixed up, it can be tricky. Anyway, so then here is 3, which again looks similar to a 3, but with that little curly bit on the end. And that is teen. And I'm writing this out like teen, but again you dentalize it, so it's teen. It's almost like a TH. So I guess you could call it, I guess you could write it out with an H, but that can be misleading because, again, it's not theen, it's theen. I don't know if this is, I really hope this makes sense. Again, I sort of grew up around this, so I can sort of hear the difference, but I understand how someone who may, for example, only speak English or only speak a more Western language might not get the difference. But again, the tongue needs to touch the back of the teeth. So, theen, not teen or theen. It's sort of in between. Okay, now let's do 4. So 4 is sort of like that. Is that sort of what the Taurus symbol looks like? I don't know. I'm not into astrology, but I thought that's what the symbol for Taurus looks like. And this one is char. It's a little bit easier to pronounce than the whole there's no, like, I guess, kind of weird letters in there. Usually, a lot of people write this out with 2 A's to distinguish the ah from the So, like, for 0 it's shunya, whereas for 4 it's char. And that's 4. So now 5. 5 is... This used to confuse me all the time, because to me this looks sort of like a 6. But it's not, it's 5. So sort of like that. I think I made the tail a little bit too long. But, yeah, this is 5. And 5 is punch. sort of like punch, but with an ah. Now for number, I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but my phone is ringing and I'm not going to answer it right now. Oh, the sacrifices I make for you guys. Kidding. Anyway, number 6 is che. So this looks sort of like a backwards 3 with a loop at the end. It kind of looks like the symbol for 3 backwards too. I did a very bad job of drawing that, but that would be 6. 6 is che again. And again, the E is sort of like eh. And it's not ch like the ch on the end of punch. So it's not like an English ch, I guess. It's like a heavier ch. So che, almost like cha he. So that's why it's written out with 2 H's like that. Alright, so next is 7. 7 is, let's see, kind of go down, up, and around. And that is 7, and 7 is sap. I'm just going to put the H in parentheses because, like the theme over here, it's sort of, it's the same sort of th that's sort of not sat and not sat. It's sat, where the tongue touches the back of the teeth. Okay. Now, 8. 8 is pretty simple. But, yeah, it's sort of like a little slanty and a hook. That's 8. And that is at. Now that one is a different T. So I put a T there because it's more of a duh, a t. So I guess similar to the T in English, rather than the. So when I looked it up, it was described as being similar, like they said to, compare it to the word art, but without the R. And I can kind of see that, but it's still more of an ah, not an. Well, yeah, actually, art. So you don't need to really dentalize that one. Next is 9, which can look sort of similar again here to the 1. The difference being, instead of it being open here, it's closed. So, and I used to screw that up all the time when I was first learning it. But 9 is no. So it's either written as no, so it's sort of like nor, but without the R, or no, because it is more of an AU sound than an O sound. And then, so those are the digits, and then if you just write, that was a very bad one, but, so that would be 10, which would be dus, which is either written as D-U-S or D-A-S, depending on who you ask. That's sort of like dust, but without the T. Anyway, so I'll sort of put that like that so you can see the numbers at the bottom. I'll go through each of them again, and I'll count up to 30, but I just wanted to make this a 1 to 10 video, so I'm not going to focus too much on the numbers past 10, so let's see. 1, shunya, or no, sorry, 0, shunya, 1 or ek, 2 or do, 3 or teen, 4 or char, 5 or panch, 6 or che, 7 or sat, 8 or at, 9 or no, 10 or das. And then after that, 11 is gyara, 12 is bara, 13 is tera, 14 is choda, 15 is pandra, 16, yeah, 15 is pandra, 16 is sola, 17 is satara, 18 is atara, 19 is unnis, 20 is bis, 21 is ikkis, 22 is bayis, 23 is deis, 24 is chobis, 25 is pachis, 26 is chabis, 27 is satais, I think it's satais, satais, sorry. 28 is atais, 29 is unatis, and 30 is these. So, aside from a few minor screw-ups, because it has been a long time since I actually last used this information, and I probably should have had like a cheat sheet or something, but anyway, so there we go. There are the numbers in Hindi, and now you guys know a little bit more about the strange language. Alright, well, I hope you guys learned a lot from this, and I will see you guys next time.